Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Tim. You're here at Stock Picks by Tim, and I'm going to get into a couple of stocks that I'm looking at. We're also going to just brush over the market, look at Bitcoin, and see that, risk on assets are running up, and Bitcoin is actually trying to, establish its support right around 47. So that's kind of interesting, and I think that is a good sign for Bitcoin. But make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I put out daily videos, and later today I'm going to be covering Micron, MU stock. Haven't covered that one in a while. I've gotten out of that one, got in right around this level, got out, made a little profit, looking to get back in, waiting to hear from that earnings, but I will be giving you guys a video of the key points of Micron's earnings later today, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and let's get into the day in the market. And now you'll notice we're relatively mixed. A lot of, large tech names are actually up. 1% or so. We've got Google up 1%, Apple up almost 1%, Disney's up 2%, Tesla's flat. Retail trade is relatively flat. We've got Amazon flat, Walmart relatively flat. I'm showing you this just to show you this. Now that's just the overall market, but let me show you my watch list and just how a lot of these small caps have been continuing to run. We've got Workhorse up 8%, Bingo up a nice 8%, CleanSpark actually pulling back a little bit, and I'll give you my thoughts on CleanSpark. Like I said, I was talking about Bitcoin starting to come back down, and I figured I'd take some profits on my swing trade position on CleanSpark. But let's look at the chart and I'll give you my thoughts there. So in my previous video yesterday, I was talking about Bitcoin and how on the RSI we are extremely overbought, the most overbought we've been since about November 2021. And I had a feeling that Bitcoin was simply due to pull back a little bit, test some lower levels, and it does look like we are trying to hang up and use this upward channel line as a support level. I do think we might come down and, come trade around this channel. I think it can pull back a little bit more, maybe test about 45,000. But just because I was seeing some potential weakness coming, moving forwards for Bitcoin, I did decide to swing my position on CleanSpark on my short-term position. I do have two positions on CleanSpark, one that's very long-term, and with CleanSpark, I still see as a great time to average in for that position. But with my short-term account, I try to, get it as tight as possible, and just buy those dips, sell those rips, get in and get out, make a quick profit, and then with that profit, I can move it into my long-term position with CleanSpark, or, get back in, rebuild my position on my short-term position. So that's what I did. I did sell a little bit of CleanSpark, and I'm looking for it to pull back, and let's look at CleanSpark's chart. Now, here we are at CleanSpark. I honestly think we can come down to this like $11 level, this resistance we broke out of. I think we're going to flip and trade this as a support. I think it's definitely possible, especially if Bitcoin can start cooling off a little bit more, come towards that $45,000 level. But with CleanSpark, I figured that we were just at that $550 level, and now we're over $13. I think it's due to pull back just a little bit, test that $11 level, and if it does go down there, I will build out my position again on my short-term position. Now, that being said, in my long-term position, I think CleanSpark's still a great buy while it's under $15, and even just continuing to average in as it moves up farther, which I do expect over the coming years. This is my favorite Bitcoin miner. They are now profitable and their revenue has been continuing to increase. And I expect them to break roughly nearly $60 million in revenue next quarter. But we'll see how that goes. Now, next up, I want to brush on Matterport very quickly. It's actually ran up about 10%, 11% so far today. And we're working on breaking out of this resistance here before pushing through to the next one, pushing through to the next one. This was a downtrend and we need to break out of these local tops here. We did break out of this one, and that is possibly what's giving this a little extra push here. It is nice to see now we are holding this 300 EMA as a support. So we will see if that continues. I think Matterport might pull back just a little bit. We are a little overbought on the RSI. It has definitely ran a little too far too fast in my opinion. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a red day sometime during this week. But yeah, I'm definitely keeping a close eye on Matterport. And I personally think while it's under $10, it's definitely worth averaging through. Now, I'm fully built out on this one. If it does potentially pull back to about 750, which is where the 300 lies, then I might add a little bit more, but I'm pretty much fully built out on this one, and I think it's about ready to start moving to the upside. I think that momentum has just shifted, but we will see moving forwards on Matterport. Now, next up is Indy. I know I haven't really talked about this in a little while. This is my favorite semiconductor play. I also love Valens. And looking at Indy, we have just broke our 300 moving average. So that's definitely bullish news. We will see if it continues. I think we need to come and break about 850, break these resistances here before we push higher. I think it'll chop a little bit around. We'll test this 300 moving average, see if we hold it as a support. But I definitely love Indy at this price. They have a stellar executive team. Most of the executives in Indy have actually worked together for more than 20 years. So the executives are very familiar with themselves. They know how they work, you know, they know what to expect out of each of them. So that's good. I like that the executives have experience together, working together. Not just that they have experience at other companies like Broadcom, like Cirrus Logic, you know, like Skyworks, which they actually sold their company Axiom to Skyworks, made a nice chunk of change there, but that was before Indy. That was before the Indy days, but that's just good. That, to me, indicates that these executives know what they're doing, and huge companies like Skyworks, you know, bought up a company that these executives have ran. So maybe the same thing will happen with Indy. I honestly don't hope that they get acquired by a different company. I see a lot of growth potential in Indy where, for instance, Neo in their earnings call actually mentioned that they have about 1,000 chips in one of their vehicles. And this is how things are going to go moving forwards. We're going to get more and more semiconductor chips, and this will definitely benefit Indy greatly over the coming years. Love this stock. Don't sleep on it. I think at its current price, it's definitely worth averaging in. This was about a $16, $17 stock a couple months ago. It had a huge run, started just downtrending, and you know, you could argue that at this level, it's definitely worth a buy, in my opinion. Definitely love Indy. It's one of my high conviction semiconductor plays. And, you know, it's worth an average through at this price. It is nice to see that it's getting that bullish momentum. We are finally having that momentum change. We hit about 680, 686, and then we started just pushing higher. So keep an eye on that level. If we break that, we will likely push to lower levels, find new lows. But I think the lows are priced in here, and we're not going to find new lows. And I think we're going to miss out on those great deals that we were just at. But definitely love Indy, and let's get into the next one. All right, next up is Ford. This one I actually don't have anymore. I got out on a covered call, sold a covered call. I got a sign on that one. I made my profit, made my premium. I'm happy with that, made my money. But looking at Ford, I think it's great to average in at this price, and we are finding resistance right here. It seems like we're likely going to try to establish our support. To me, we're going to establish this support right around 750. It's been very, very choppy, and I want to see it actually establish a nice, like a sideways action, some support. I personally don't think we're going to see under 15 anytime soon. It was a blessing getting it in that low area. I actually got it at 12. I actually got in for it on a cash secured put, rode that out on some covered calls, didn't get a sign the first couple times, but right around like this run probably I got a sign, which, you know, I missed out on some of this run, but that's okay. I made a profit. I was down here, made a run up to here, didn't get all of it, but it is what it is. Things could just have easily gone the other way and it could have came down. So don't look at missed out opportunities like that. You'll pull your hair out, you know, saying that, oh, I didn't get out on the top perfectly. The point is making money. So I'm glad I made money. You know, it would have been great if I could have held this longer, if I didn't do a covered call, if I would have just held my shares. But that's hindsight. Of course, you know, you'd be a genius if you could go back and look at hindsight that way. But that's Ford. I am looking at this one very closely. We did break out our 300 moving average. I'm watching this one. I want to see it pull back just a little bit, test that 300, and I will potentially add to this one finally. I have been watching it. I've been watching it since like right around here. I got out like around here somewhere. Been watching it since here. Didn't pull the trigger on this. Had a huge run up. Started coming down, and I'm just watching it. So far, it seems like the momentum is starting to change, and we are starting to get that uptrend, but we will see where things go with Ford. I do like Ford at its current price, though. Next up is going to be Corsair, or CRSR. I haven't covered this one since probably about a month or two ago, but looking at it here, we are trying to establish a support right around our previous resistance, this like $22 level. We kind of had resistance here. I want to see us break this and hold it. I want to see us break it and hold it. We do have a resistance moving forward, so about 2350 or so. And we just haven't been able to break past that. But I'm watching Corsair. I want to see us hold over this 300 MA. I'm looking at the RSI. We are getting towards overbought. Not quite there yet. Very close. But if this does pull back, I want to see it bounce off this 300 and then push its way higher. I want to see us establish this support right around 22. Get some movement. Get some, just get some sideways action right around 22. Establish some nice solid supports. And for me, if this one comes under 20, it's a great buy in my opinion. I absolutely love Corsair's products. The computer I'm using right now has Corsair RAM, Corsair fans. I've got a power supply in the other one. Definitely love Corsair, and I'm using their Elgato products as well. But I do want to see this one break out of its resistance, and once it does that, I might be playing this on a quick in and out call option once we break out. I would likely trade Corsair as a breakout trade once we can break out of these levels here, this like 2350 level. Once we can break these tops, I would likely, scalp this on a quick breakout trade. I do have a small position in this one, just holding. I like to add this one under $20. Now next up is going to be Workhorse or Wkhs. Now I did add these levels here a couple days ago, and it looks like we're about to break out. It does look like we're very close to breaking out of this like 480, 490 level. I want to see us break out of this and start chopping around. Likely to from about 5 to about 550. I think we are going to try to establish this area as kind of just some sideways action. I want to see us break out of this though. To me, Workhorse is starting to turn bullish. We hit a low of about $3, and since that $3, we've just been starting to trend upwards. We had our earnings. Rick Dauch seems to be turning this ship around. I definitely like the management here. They have a lot on their plate though, and you are going to have to be patient with Workhorse. Now next up is going to be Chargepoint. I think I have mentioned this to you guys before, but they are partnering with Toyota and Toyota's BZ4X. They're going to have access to Chargepoint's network of EV chargers, and Chargepoint has about 170,000 ports. And if you guys are familiar with the channel, you'll know that I've covered Chargepoint's earnings the last couple times. Definitely love Chargepoint. If it does break 20, I will likely scalp some profits off of it, trim, 5 to 10%. It has ran quite a bit from about $11, $12, so just be aware of that. And now, I haven't looked at Chargepoint's chart much lately, but looking at it, it is still trading in this nice upwards channel. And I do think we're going to find some resistance here at about 20, but once we break out, we're going to definitely push higher in my opinion. Things are definitely looking bullish with Chargepoint. We are getting very close to a little bit overbought. I'd like to see this come down and hold about 1750 as a support, this previous bump up right here. If we can hold this area as a support, maybe bounce off this trend line and push higher. This can come down, test this support here, bounce here, and keep going. That's my expectation on what Chargepoint is going to do over the next couple days. Definitely very bullish on Chargepoint over the long term. The revenue has been increasing. They're moving into Europe, getting more market share there. They're the market leader in North America. Love Chargepoint. Look into them. My favorite charging stock. Also check out Volta. I also love Volta as well. Extremely, extremely low in price still. Chargepoint definitely ran up a little bit more than Volta, but definitely look at Volta and Chargepoint. I love the future potential of these, and for me, this is the picks and shovel play instead of going into just a specific EV. I love Chargepoint Volta. Watching EVgo as well, don't have that one yet. But that's basically all I got for you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.